a non-self-governing territory. The historic importance of this event consisted in the internationalization of the Sahrawi question, and therefore the recognition of the responsibility by the United Nations towards the Sahrawi people in accordance with Resolution 1514 and other relevant resolutions. Therefore, and despite its inbuilt imbalances and limitations, the United Nations remains the guardian of the international status of Western Sahara as a non-self-governing territory and a right of our people to self-determination and all other associated rights, including the right to resist occupation and the permanent sovereignty of our national resources. As I underscored at EUCOCO in Lisbon last year, this is what explains that the strategic objective that Morocco has been seeking is the de-internationalization of the issue of Western Sahara. Why? Because they know very well that neither occupation by force nor the policy of fait accompli can give them the international legitimacy which only the United Nations can grant. And as we've seen, the very intense debates that took place in New York around the draft resolution of the Security Council did demonstrate how far the occupying state can go in trying to advance its colonial agenda. Despite the legitimate reservations that Frente Polisario made regarding the attempts to deviate from the established norms by the Security Council, what we can say as a main takeaway from Resolution 2797 is that the indication by the Security Council that any peaceful, just, lawful, and lasting solution must meet three main requirements. First, it must be consistent with the purposes and principles of the UN Charter. Second, it must provide for the self-determination of the people of Western Sahara, which means that the genuine and free choice of the Sahrawi people is the prerequisite for any solution. And third, the solution must be acceptable to the Sahrawi people and consequently to their sole and legitimate representative, the Frente Polisario. However, the battle is not over yet because Morocco, the occupying state, persists in its aggressive colonial policy aimed at creating more facts on the ground in the attempt, obviously, to entrench and normalize its illegal occupation and annexation of our country. And for its part, as we've seen, all of us, during October, the Security Council, and because of the influence certain powers, including France, continues to opt for maintaining the status quo. And as we've seen also through the latest resolution, we've seen that the Security Council, unfortunately, has taken further steps in shifting the center of gravity of the peace process from the established framework of decolonization to that of the so-called mutually acceptable political solution based on compromise. And so the convergence of all these events, among other things, indicates that we are at a pivotal moment of our struggle for freedom and independence. And now the question that arises is this: what could be done by the international solidarity movement to continue defending the legitimate rights of the Sahrawi people and demanding the decolonization of Western Sahara? There is no doubt that we need fresh ideas to provide effective responses to a wide range of challenges in these very dynamic and changing international environment. And I believe that the workshops that would be held during these coming 2 days are the right place to undertake such an important task. However, let's all remember that the greatest strength lies in the unwavering determination of our people and the firmness of the legal foundation on which our just cause is based. In this context, it's extremely important to defend the international status of Western Sahara as a question of decolonization inside the United Nations and beyond. There's also a need for additional efforts to further internationalize the issue of Western Sahara by engaging those institutions that protect international law at regional and international levels. And in this context, the participation in the works of UN bodies, including the Fourth Committee and the Special Committee on Decolonization, the C24, among other things, of course, is very important in this regard. And before concluding, and as Mr. Prime Minister said this afternoon, I can just reiterate the position of the Frente Polisario that we remain ready to engage responsibly and actively in the UN-led peace process in Western Sahara. And to that end, we have submitted an expanded proposal to the United Nations as a generous offer, but also as a testament to our readiness to share the costs of peace with the other party if they are willing to do so, with a view to achieving a peaceful, just, and lasting solution that provides for the self-determination of our people and restores regional peace and security. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.